Tell us a little more about why you're making this move. Have European investors told you they want to see this?
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. First and foremost, it's actually not a spin-off, but it's a primary listing of all our global consumer internet assets, and that is what we think an extremely exciting portfolio of assets that we believe global tech investors will be very keen to access, and we think Euronext is an excellent exchange to do that.
Okay, I was going to ask you that. Why Amsterdam?
Yeah, no, so Amsterdam is actually, we've been in the city maybe for almost 30 years. It's been our second home for a long time. And we found an excellent place to attract global talent to. We find people are really comfortable to relocate there. We have an excellent group of people there. It is also an exchange that is very sizable. There's about $3.5 trillion in capital there, 1,300 listings. All in all, a great home for the group.
Can I ask you what you hope to see in terms of the share price of Naspers here then, Bob? Because we see a little bit of movement up this morning, but you'll be well aware that your company trades at a discount to your 30% or so holding in Tencent. Is this designed to close that gap?
So we basically see it as if you look at the company where it is now, this portfolio of assets, I think, is a very attractive investment opportunity. And we think it will also attract very significant pools of capital that previously weren't available to the company. So we think that is going to be a very positive thing for the new co. And as we think that going forward, 75% of the new company will actually still be owned by Naspers. That advantage will also flow through Naspers at the top co. I think at the same time, we have a very high concentration on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, with Naspers almost being 25% of the index, and that will also be alleviated by this structure. So we think it will have a very positive impact.
Okay. Away from the news of this morning then, Bob, let me ask you about your plans for where you're excited to invest your money. We recently carried a story talking about maybe $1 billion worth of investments in India this year. Does that number ring true?
Yeah, so we have been, if you look at where we've been allocating our capital the last few years, India has been a very important investment destination for us, and it's mainly been driven by just explosive growth in the number of mobile internet users. And on the back of that, we've invested actually fairly early in companies like Swiggy, OLX, PayU, and they've been making great progress in India, and our plan is to continue doing that. Now, how exactly we'll invest and where exactly, that's hard to predict, but India is a massive opportunity for us.
It's a big opportunity. A lot of your focus in that country has been in food, hasn't it? In food delivery and other associated businesses. Bob, what about other areas, about the growing finance market, payments businesses, lending, that sort of thing in India? Is that of interest?
Absolutely. We have actually we've greenfield built a business called PayU, which is a big payment business that connects merchants to customers. That's doing very well in the market. And we've also been investing in consumer credit, because we realize there's a huge credit gap in India, and that is definitely something we're keenly pursuing.
What about your holding in Tencent, Bob? What are your intentions? You've been trimming it a little. Do you plan to keep it as it is?
Yeah, absolutely. We are still so impressed with the quality of the leadership team there and how they take a long-term view on value creation in what is clearly the largest internet market in the world. And it's very much our intention to keep that investment as it is.
What about the most recent update from them, though, Bob? I mean, the profit numbers came in a little below estimates. They missed estimates. Rising investment in cloud computing and slowing games approval are issues this business faces. You're not concerned about those issues?
No, I would say, and I think it's best to ask the question to the team itself. But what I've always been impressed with is the long-term focus of the Tencent team. I think it's probably the best internet team in the world, and they're investing in things that I think are extremely promising for the next decade. We're extremely supportive of that.
A quick word about TV. I know your business has been selling your Africa Pay TV company. You sold that a little bit earlier on, in last month, in fact, or a month or so ago. We are expecting to see an announcement from Apple later on today, perhaps around further activity in the pay TV sector. Is that an area that is gone for you, or are you still interested in gaining more exposure in that side of things, pay TV?
Yeah, we actually didn't sell the company, but we basically gave it its separate primary listing, and then we unbundled the shares to all our shareholders. And the company is now trading independently. Has actually gotten off to a really nice start. I think investors see that in Africa, I think the model that MultiChoice has still quite a bit of runway. I think what typically is the case in many sub-Saharan African countries, that broadband penetration is still very low, and fixed line broadband may actually never get there for most of the continent, and that gives that company a good amount of runway. Whether we ourselves are going to make further investments into the video space remains to be seen. I think it's an exciting space, but it's also a highly competitive space. So we'll see.